Welcome Home Radio Podcast. Are you looking to buy or sell your home? Our team is here with answers to guide you through the buying and selling process. We encourage you to ask questions. Please comment on this show or visit us at welcomehomeradio.net for more information. Bringing real estate, lending, and education together in one place, and to help you make the right home decision for you and your family. Here are your hosts, Blair Thomas, Tom Holm, Alan Pace, and Jeff Duffee.
And welcome to Welcome Home Radio. It is December 27th. I hope you had a very Merry Christmas with your families and got exactly what you wanted. I know I did. I asked for nothing. I got nothing. So what a wonderful time. But
I think you're funny.
Appreciate the opportunity to come and talk to you. I don't know if you know this, but anytime a purchase of a home, a loan goes through, there is in excess of 26 to 32 people working on your file, not just the realtor, not just the lender, but so many other people behind the scenes. And one of those people behind the scenes that is very important to you, and it's very strategic, is we're going to talk about your title guy, your title insurance. You hear about home insurance, and you understand that because you've dealt with cars, but what is title insurance? So we wanted to, first off, welcome everybody. Jeff, Tom, Alan, Merry Christmas to y'all. Hope you got big plans for New Year's.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry.
What for New Year's?
I got exactly what I need for Christmas.
Nothing.
Which was, I did not receive a pink slip from my wife or my job. There you go. We're we're good to go.
Okay.
Unlike my wife who says, you got to retire. And I'm like, you mean I got to be home all the time? I don't think so.
My wife doesn't want me home all the time either, so you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Tom, aren't you home all the time?
No. I still travel. I'm going to go to Fort Worth and teach tomorrow for 3 days. So
another adventure of Welcome Home Family Therapy.
I know, right? Thanks, Alan. I was trying to avoid it, but I
know you were, Tom. I'm here for you, brother.
Thank you.
So again, let's talk about what is title insurance, because so many people don't know what it's for, why it's there. And of course, we got a professional right here. Jeff, tell us all about title. Yeah, don't look at the guy behind or around.
Blair, here's the thing. Let's start with this. And most people, I do not think, realize title insurance is not the law. You are not required to have title insurance. If I came with a contract to
They finally admitted it. This is awesome.
If I came to a contract I submitted to you or Tom or Alan, we agree on a purchase. If it's cash, I don't have to have title insurance. Okay? Title insurance is involved primarily when you go into the bank or your mortgage company and saying, hey, I want to borrow $600,000. Well, they want something to complement them and support them on their risk in you, right? Everything that companies do, just like insurance, or title insurance, your car, your home, is a risk assessment. Your mortgage company is a risk assessment, right? They're going to look at you and say, we believe you're going to pay this loan off that we give to you. Everybody's looking to say, we're good to go. We trust you. Is that a fair assessment, Tom?
Yeah.
The whole process. It's all about who can you trust. And that's risk assessment. But I just want to make sure everybody realizes title insurance is not a requirement. But
well, we can't ask Tom for his academic answer. What's the academic answer to what title insurance is, Tom?
It is insurance issued in order to protect the new homeowner, not the old one, against claims specifically related to the title itself, such as incorrect filings, additional liens that weren't disclosed, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Fair enough.
And that is a complete look at the history of that property, that your interest now. When you buy that home, you have the interest. You are the vested party in that property. So a title insurance policy, when you buy your home, it is valid and good to protect your rights to that property until you change or sell that property. If you do, even if you did a simple deed into my other family member, that changes the title. My vested interest has been sent to someone else. The title policy is no longer covered. I want to make sure people know that, because we run into that a lot recently, of someone saying, well, we want to put this in my family kid's name, or I want to put this property in. If you don't have to have a title insurance policy to do that, but if you had one when you purchased the property, you are no longer covered by that policy because you changed title of the property. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So the other aspect of that is, what are we actually doing? Just keep in mind, and Tom already said that, we typically do not have to go back to sovereignty, but most any title underwriter and insurance company can go back into sovereignty when the first deed was recorded of who owned that property, and we're tracing it back.
We're talking about your map, Tom.
Exactly. You're talking about Stephen F. Austin and his first negotiations with the new country of Texas. You go all the way back, typically, just to make sure we're clear, you'll go back to the time in the 1830s when we became a country, correct? Unless you're in South Texas, and then there's some places down there that go all the way back to land grants that went with the King of Spain at that time, like the King Ranch, appropriately.
Absolutely. Good call back there, Tom.
I was there, so I'm just talking about what I saw.
So, but we know you drew that map and the trails. We know you created those trails. We discussed that.
That's me.
If anybody's not sure, the map over Tom's shoulder is what he's referring to. We tease him that he helped draw those maps in the 1800s.
If you do a good job with title insurance and title research, and saying title's clear, free and clear to the buyer, do they need that insurance we see on TV all the time and on the radio? And, like, if you don't have it, it's going to cost them lots of money, and we're there for you, and blah, blah, blah. So what is title companies' experience with that? I mean, I don't really know anybody had that's not true. I know one person that had an issue with title, but that's it. So how do you answer those questions? Do people ever ask you about it when you're closing, and how do you answer that?
That's a great question. So typically, though, oddly enough, people don't ask that much in closing because they really don't care. They just want to buy the house or sell the house and move on. Some
Right.
will, but your first point of the companies now who say pay us $125 for the year almost, or I don't know the prices. We're title lock guaranteed. I've been in the title industry for 30 years now. I do not purchase that service. That's all I can say. I don't want to bag on any company or anyone. That's not my job, but I don't subscribe to it. Now, why is that? Because I have a title policy, and here's what people do not realize. If someone, let's take a story from 10 years ago. There was a gentleman, here's the scary stories that people experience. There's a guy in prison who figured out a way to have someone else help him notarize, forge signatures, create fraudulent documents to where he did obtain title to the property. It's temporary. The fear is what you're beating down is that someone said, well, that new person's going to go all these mortgage. You're going to have attorneys take care of that if that were to happen. These companies that you're paying to say, guard my title, they may say, hey, Jeff, we found that someone's filed something on your property. But guess what? There's no representation with that. I'm still going to, no matter what, the process would be the same if fraudulent documents were filed in the courthouse.
But they pitch that they give them up to $1 million.
I have to go to court and create a lawsuit. And the company that I might have purchased that coverage from, they're not providing. It's not like an insurance where if you get busted, we're going to have our attorneys there to support you, because they're not. All they're saying is, oh, by the way, we see this document was filed. There's no support from any of those companies that I'm
you
aware
see
of.
ads where they offer like $1 million of this or that. What does that mean?
I'd be honest with you, I don't know. But here's what's going to happen with that, because I haven't read it, to be honest with you, Alan. But typically what they're doing is that $120 for a year subscription, they're now bumping up the price on that if you want that. That's extra service. Does that make sense? Extra service.
Yep.
So again, they're making money. That's it. And it's okay. If it makes you feel comfortable and sleep better at night, by all means, go for it. But I don't use it. I've had 2 homes. Well, I've had 3 homes. I keep moving forward. We'll see what happens over the long time. But I've never known a reason to have that.
But do you really own them?
No. I still have a mortgage. I'm getting closer every day. Without a doubt. But a title policy is just protection from fraud. Is a huge aspect of the title industry. You'd be amazed how many people are, the signatures are wrong, or somebody signed on behalf of someone else over the years that you just have to clean it up. It's not the saying it can't be fixed, but it has to be cleaned up.
Yeah, and like you and like Blair have to work close together on a deal when you're both representing. I mean, it's contact between lender and title.
Not that close.
Well, that'll go away someday,
Hey,
Blair.
look at me. I cleaned up. I shaved.
I think you look nice.
One day a year does not maketh a man.
Fair enough.
But for the folks out there, title and lending work close together. And so you need experience. You need experience at both ends of that.
Title, lender, realtor, everyone has a common goal. Just like I mentioned, or I'll mention, I just sat with the lady who buying her first home, and guess what? She looked at me in amazement. I was like, okay, we're going to communicate all together. Everyone's working on your behalf. And she's like, that sounds and feels really nice. You know what I mean? She felt really great that she's got an army on behalf of her transaction. And I say that because it isn't uncommon when we receive a contract as a title company. I think it's important people need to understand and remember, we do not represent the buyer. We do not represent the seller. We represent the contract. So whatever agreement that buyer and seller have come to, that's what we're going to follow. That's it. No one gets favoritism because you're the seller or you're the buyer or because one or the other is paying for the title policy. None of that matters. Our end game is to make sure everybody's happy by following the rules and the agreements in the engagement of that contract. So
cool.
That's what I think people don't realize sometimes.
Well, I think anybody in a deal thinks when you talk to somebody, they're on your side. It's natural. You know, you're asking them personal questions, they're answering, and you know, he's a nice guy, man. He asked me some stuff. I told him I don't tell that to everybody. He's cool.
Absolutely.
Well, you're really doing your job on behalf of everybody.
Why do we always close at a title company, Jeff? Do we have to?
Well, you mean physically? Because we're in Texas. We're in Texas. Everything's bigger and better, right?
I see the map. It's a big state. It goes way up north.
No, you absolutely do not have to come to the title company. It's up to you. If this is something that you've bought a home or two in your life, and you're like, I know the game, I know the documents, whether I'm buying cash or I know my lender because Blair at Cardinal has communicated with me and everything's on board, on point. No, we close remote. I have many clients in Japan. Sometimes we have closings at 2 a.m. in the morning. In Vietnam, I mean, they're 12 hours from India, people from anywhere. We do have mobile notaries that come to you. That's not a law. We do have the ability to do RAWN, which is remote online notary. When I mention people across any point of the world. So to answer your question, Blair, no, you absolutely do not have to come in. Sometimes it might be personal decision. Sometimes, as you guys know, first-time home buyers, it's the process that makes them feel good. And again, we don't take it lightly. Every transaction, whether someone's buying a house for $100,000 or $1 million, it doesn't matter. It's a lot of money to that person.
Yep.
And we try to really work to treat it that way.
And I think that's something that everybody should know is, title companies bring the contract, like you said, you represent the contract, bring the contract together to conclusion for all parties. So many times people think they need to pay the servicer on the mortgage, the down payment. No, you're paying the title company. Now, whether you close at the new home, whether you close at, we've closed at a McDonald's, a Chick-fil-A, we've closed, refinances in homes, whatever it may be, Jeff is flexible and title can be done. But the title, reason why it's there, and it is in this very litigious society that we have, so many things can happen if you're not watching out or aware of. And somebody coming 2 generations ago on their grandmother's home saying, wait a minute, I had an ownership, I did not sell this property, yet you've already closed, and it's 6 months in, all of a sudden you get a notice. This is where title insurance helps you out, and then you can come back to Jeff and say, what's up? And Jeff, Title, Fidelity, they're a law firm as well. They've got lawyers. Guess what? They're going to go with their decision, what they made. And that's why title insurance is there. And why lenders like me require this sort of thing to be looked at, because we want to make sure our investment in you, as well as us, because we're there with you until you pay off that mortgage or sell it. The bottom line is we want to make sure it's a good investment. And as you said, Jeff, it's risk. It's all about risk.
And so to keep in mind, a couple of points that I just want to make sure of. If you're doing a cash out refi, that is something I just don't want to miss. You do actually have to sign at the bank or at the title company. And that is just the law.
It can be done at the mortgage, title, law firm.
You can't be in the Amazon forest. That's one of the only times that you can't not sign your documents if you're in the Amazon forest.
Cash out refinance.
Cash property, you can actually do DocuSign on the phone wherever you are and complete the closing purchase. So it's all about comfort level for each individual and each transaction. So
I like going there because you get cookies and coffee and all sorts of stuff.
And your buyers get celebrated, right?
They're all happy, yeah.
The free child care is probably the most exciting part.
Some do that.
Coloring books we have.
Oh, Lord.
So what other questions do we need to bring up, or what else did you think is out there, that questions that people have about title because they don't understand? And I still, even 9 years into the industry, I still get a lot of questions about title and why. Not only is it, why do we require it, but what other questions are challenged or approached to you?
And I just one thing too, keep in mind, many states run as Texas does in title policy. But keep in mind, if you're on the East Coast, a lot of times, if anyone's listening, you're dealing direct with attorneys mostly, where it's a law firm that handles the transactions. And it appears to be different, but it's really not, because a title company is created and built with attorneys, right? So, but on the East Coast, you are typically dealing, we have a lot of folks moving in who go, what is this title company? We dealt with XYZ firm before. Well, that's typical. We're doing the same thing, essentially. It's just a different scenario or different setup from different states. So, but majority of states in general do function as we do as far as a title entity is available.
I did not know that on the East Coast. Did not know that. Tom, what else? You're being awfully quiet, sir. Is your back hurting?
Quiet, isn't he?
Why do we have to pay title insurance when we refinance? I mean, I haven't moved anything or anywhere.
So that's a great question. Let's keep in mind.
Yeah,
I hadn't said this. Well, it came from you. Obviously, it's a great question.
How come his questions are always better than ours?
Look at No, look at it this way, and I hadn't said this. I think it's important. I always make the comparison, your auto and your homeowner's insurance, right? What are you paying them for? Are you paying them for what happened last year on your home? No, that's done. That's gone. You're paying for the future. Possible storm, tree falls on your roof, whatever it might be, damage to your home. Let's say if you're homeowners, you're paying for the future. Same thing with your car. I haven't had a wreck. Well, okay, me recently I did, but I digress.
Yeah, you did.
But car insurance, quit. That's if it's not my fault, it doesn't count. You are paying for the past. In title insurance, we are insuring what happened in the past. That's the biggest difference. So, Tom, as far as your question goes, you're saying, why do I need to do that as a refinance? Well, once again, your lenders is going to loan you money on that refinance, on that new loan. And they're saying, hey, wait a minute, you've lived in this property for 5 years,
For my
15,
past,
20 years. What's happened in that time?
for
That's
my
why.
past, not my future.
No, it's your past.
Right.
Right. What's happened since you bought the home?
Nothing.
But we don't know that. You can sit there and tell me nothing all day long, but yet
You just click
you
a
still
button
got
and
3
you can
boats in
see.
your garage. You haven't moved out. Who knows, right?
So how you doing, Blair? Everything okay?
You can tell me things all day long, Tom, as long as
These
I
guys are
know
like
you,
having fun
how
over
much I
here.
may like you, love you. It's not. I trust you more than my family. So there. How about that? Isn't how most of us?
Yeah. More than my brother for sure.
Absolutely. So, I mean, that's the point of what's happening on a refinance. It's just simply saying you may not have mowed your lawn for 2 years, and the city has filed $1,200 in liens on your property. Where you're going to make sure that's cleaned up.
Oh, tell them what every title company tells them. They blame it on the lender.
Nope.
The lender requires it. The lender
didn't say that.
requires it.
All I said was it's a security of the investment, not the lender. If I'm going to loan you $500,000, I need to know that something is secure in my
He just
investment.
had a lobotomy. I'm not loaning him $500,000. Look at him.
Uh-oh.
Now he's snorting at me.
It's the truth.
So that's why it's needed on a refinance, Tom. I hope that helps. I
Okay.
hope that helps.
Great question. And yes, it is asked.
Will you
That
give
is-
me a discount if I have refinance in the first year?
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yes, we will.
I'll answer that for him. Yes. Even though he's had 2 accidents in one year. Yes.
There you go.
So it is calculated in the first 5 years of the purchase of your title policy. You do get a discount. So in the first year, it's 50%, and every year after, it's a 10 to 12. I don't know. I'll have to pull it up, but it's less
10% less
every time over the next 5 years. After 5 years, you don't have a discount.
Isn't there some kind of lending thing you can't refinance until 6 months or something like that? You buy a home?
Some bankers. How'd you like that, Blair? I didn't say lender. I said banker. But some have that in the agreements of your loan documentation. And we have to think about it this way. It's not, they're not
Making money.
mean, they're not rude, they're not trying to be horrible, but they're a business, they're a company. And if you were to refinance or sell the property within 6 months, they really are not going to make any money in the long haul. So some banks will put restrictions on how soon. I mean, it's not that you can't do it. You may have a penalty, a prepayment penalty. So just keep that in mind and look at those documents or ask your LO. And of course, if you're talking to Blair Thomas, he's going to tell you that before you even ask it.
Who's
Oh,
Blair
yeah.
Thomas?
Oh, yeah.
Is that the guy? Is that the one?
Up here,
Yeah.
I don't know what screen. So yeah, there.
One of the things I find interesting in reference to title is we continue to try to clarify this, but title still seems to be, it goes on with that loan file. It stays with them just like the company does. If something happens 12 years, same owners, same there, everything. Something comes up 12 years later. Is there a time limit to your title insurance that's paid for at the closing?
No, and that's where I was referencing, and I might not have put it into words beautifully, but as long as you keep your vested interest in the property, your coverage is intact. It's a one-time fee, unlike other home or auto. That one-time fee is paid at closing when you acquire your property. You have that coverage as long as you own that property. As long as your interest is held in the courthouse showing that you own the property, your coverage is valid.
If you do have a problem, can you call any title company to get the information? You have to call your title company, or will a lawyer figure it all out, or how does that work?
The first step, if you have an issue, and I'm not a lawyer, I do not represent you or anyone who breathes in this world. I'm just me. But before you go thinking you need to go grab an attorney, initially, you need to file a claim with the underwriter or whoever issued your title policy. Yeah, so I'm representative of Fidelity National Title. We're the largest title company underwriter in the country. If anybody ever calls me, I give them an email address first just to file the claim to get the ball rolling. Here's the issue, and then our attorneys respond and do communicate with you on the challenge or what the situation is. But don't just go grab an attorney, please. At least send that email, whether it be my company or another underwriting entity, and start the process that way. Just because you don't need to incur any fees that are not necessary.
Right.
Wonderful.
But don't I call my realtor first because they told me which title company to use?
Hey, Tom, do you know what your realtor is going to tell you?
Probably
Well,
something
Jeff
about
Duffee.
calling an underwriter.
If your realtor answers your call.
There you go. That's the other thing.
I'm going to answer your call.
Aren't they responsible if I'm unhappy with the title company to sue
We're
them?
responsible if your coffee's too cold in the morning, for crying out loud.
It sure is cold right now.
Oh, boy.
God didn't give me enough time during the break to go refill it.
It's time for Tom's meds. Please get him his meds.
He's happy.
The problem is this is after my meds.
Oh, Lordy.
Well, I think we've kind of said. Anything else, Jeff, that you'd like to add further to title and what it really is so that people can be aware of it? Because that's really our effort here, is for you, the listener, our wonderful listeners, that you understand what title is there. And we do recommend it. It is going to be required if you're doing a mortgage. It's not required if you're doing an all cash deal, but we highly recommend it just for your protection. Anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I mean, you said it, Blair, in the aspect of if you're going to spend $500,000 to $1 million or $100,000, the minimal charge is it's like kicking the tires on a new car when you're going car shopping. It makes sure you protect yourself. It's a minimal cost overall when it really comes down to the transaction that you're involved in. So
wonderful.
But and most importantly, we have folks just walk in the door and just feel free to walk in the door, but just call, ask questions.
Always ask questions.
It doesn't matter who we are, what walk of life, or what industry or career I've had. Just ask questions.
That's one of the bigger mistakes I think people make too. That's why I keep saying every month, every other week when we do this, it's like, talk to a real person. I mean, just don't let that click thing rule how you do this. It's not how it works. You got to get good advice. I'm telling you, title companies have really good goodies in there, man. If I go buy a title,
now we know why he goes to title.
I'll stop by there and get a cup of coffee, and we'll talk. And it's a nice place to hang.
Let's not say title companies anymore. That's what I need to change, Alan. There's only one.
Are you there by yourself in a little office?
You guys own too many companies anyway. So
Jeff, you got a Mr. Coffee and like homemade cookies in there, don't you?
I do.
We're coming over after our meeting today.
Yes.
Hey, there's an idea. Well, listen, I do want to thank y'all. I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We look forward to seeing you in 2024. We've got great new plans going on. Follow us on Real Estate Chat as well. But I'm thankful for our listeners. Thank you for everyone that is interested in what we do and how we educate people on home buying and selling. We want to let you know that real estate's a great investment. It's a great opportunity for your family for now and in the future. And so thank you again. I'm Blair Thomas.
And I am definitely Tom Holm. I checked today.
Are you done?
And I've got my medicines right here to make sure.
I'm Alan Pace. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
New Year, everyone. I'm Jeff Duffee, but I'm going to add something because it just crossed my mind. I'm trying to help a lady right now. Please, Alan, you said this. When it comes to the clicking and we live online, do not buy a property online from a company out of state.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Holy cow, they're out there.
Yeah.
Don't do it. They have contracts that are not good. You step into something that is a mess. So
What a way to end the show and the season.
And you
just
also
saying,
didn't
we
talk
already
about
said it.
buyers.
It just hit my mind.
You know what, Jeff? Somebody's doing it right now.
I have a
Somebody's
lady
doing it
that's
right
been
now.
making payments for 2 years of $225, and she doesn't own that property because a company out of Illinois. Okay,
Yeah.
call, ask questions. Welcomehomeradio.net, right, Blair?
Right.
Right.
God bless. Y'all take care.
Thank you.
Welcome Home Radio production provided by Lunatic Digital. Check the listing of this podcast for the links to our sponsors. And don't forget to like, share, and follow us on social media. Visit welcomehomeradio.net for more information. This was a Lunatic Digital production. Visit lunaticdigital.com for all your digital needs.